Our first interactive session. I would like to invite up our professional respondent. This is a true and real professional respondent. She obviously needs to be in disguise because of this. So you can
She's sorry.
Yeah, no, at the end. At the end, we'll be doing the incentive. So Ms. X, I would just like to say, how did you start becoming a professional respondent?
A friend of mine told me all about it. Apparently everybody does it.
Okay. So how often do you do?
Probably about once or twice a week.
Mainly groups?
Yeah. Sometimes just like one-on-ones.
And how long have you been doing this?
Years. About 4 years.
And you have many friends involved?
Oh yeah, everyone's involved. I mean, I go to groups and you always see someone you know. And then you just like look at them blankly, and then at the end of the group you're kind of meeting the pub around the corner.
So how do you get invited? How does the process work?
Well, there's like a company that you ring up, and then they ask you a direct question, or maybe they just ask a question like, what mobile phone do you use, what network do you use, and sometimes they kind of feed you the answer, or sometimes you'll just like think, oh, okay, which network? They'll probably want the most common ones, so you might say 2. Oh, I've got a contract and a pay-as-you-go just to be on the safe side, so you really get the group. And then they just say, okay, are you available this day? You say, yeah. There you go.
And what happens if you're not available?
Oh, then you just send your friend.
But then you have to sign for something?
Yeah, but then they'll sign as you.
They don't ask for ID or anything?
Some of them are getting a bit smart and are catching on to that, and I have been to 1 or 2 where I've gone in and they said, can we see your ID? And so I think, oh god. And then, but I mean, I was me at that time, so it was cool.
And how do you act in the group?
Oh, well, it depends. I mean, I'm quite opinionated. But then I suppose most people are in the group, but it depends on the moderator, what they're like. If they've got a nice personality and they kind of infuse motivation amongst the participants, then, or if they don't, if they're really dull, then you kind of just like a bit nonplussed about the whole thing and don't really give a shit what's, about the subject.
And how do you, in the group, how much of the time are you telling stuff about yourself which is true, and how much of it is made up?
Oh, most of the time it's true. I mean, the opinions they want will usually be my own opinions, my honest opinions. And whenever they ask, like, in the very beginning, they just say, say a little bit about yourself. If you're supposed to be like a non-working mum, then you have to make sure you get that in. Or if you're supposed to be like a bank manager, you get that bit in. Whatever you're supposed to be, you get that bit in the beginning. And then after that, you can just be honest.
Well, I'd like to throw it open to the audience now. Who's got some questions for a professional respondent? Anyone like to ask?
Yeah, who's the best research company?
I can't say that because then research companies will know who I am because they've seen you all the time.
Are you in an online panel?
No.
Why not? You can make money doing that too, if you
That's food for thought. Thank you.
Who have you most enjoyed being?
I never. You don't want to say too many lies about yourself because otherwise you forget who you're supposed to be. So you just kind of just twist the truth a little bit. I mean, the thing is that sometimes you can go to a group and you're supposed to be some high-powered hotshot or whatever, and you're in a bit over your head, and you don't actually know what you're anything about the subject, and you kind of just blag your way through the whole thing, and you just think, oh fuck, I just want to get out of here, But yeah, no, I mean, you're never anybody specific. You don't go in there being Mr. or Mrs. whoever, you know. You just bend the truth slightly.
What's your favourite projecting technique?
Sorry, say that again?
What's your favourite projecting technique?
Do you know what a projected technique is?
No.
You know when you're asked if a brand is an animal, what type of animal?
Oh, God. I hate those questions. And in all honesty, I mean, most people do. We always think, oh, God, did they ask those questions? Oh, I mean, for God's sake, what do you mean, if you were, you know. I mean, you lie. Who knows, you know, if Mr. Tiger Bear was an animal, what, he'd be a tiger.
Has learning to be a blagger helped you in your personal life?
Yeah, but I went to acting school.
Are you ever ahead of the interviewer? Do you know where they're going?
Some of the time, yeah. I mean, it depends on how much you've been briefed about the subject. Otherwise, really, you're just going there just to earn your cash and go. You don't really care too much about what they're discussing. You give your opinions and you just earn your cash. That's what it is.
Do people ever bully the others into agreeing with them?
No, there's always someone in the group who's kind of like, I don't know. No, in the groups I've been in, I don't. There's not any bullies. There's always someone who will disagree with everything you say just because they do that, even if they agree. Just to make the group a little bit more interesting. Otherwise, if everyone's agreeing, then
How much do you get paid?
that varies. Some groups are really, really good. It's only for like an hour or 2 hours and you get paid like 60, 80 quid, something like that. Some of them are quite tight and you're like there for 3 hours and you get paid 40 quid or you think, oh, what's the point? And you actually start getting a bit greedy because it's like, you think, oh God, I only earn 20 quid for an hour. Yeah. But, you know.
How good are the motor actors on acting?
They vary as well. Most of the time, I would say they motivate the participants into joining in. It's very few that are really dull and then kind of like bore anybody into going to sleep and kind of have to push for answers.
Which is more fun to be, a lapsed user or a non-rejecter?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Miss X. Just making sure she signs for it.
How much did you get?
Not enough.
Not enough.